Hey everyone, welcome back to All Things Cinema podcast. It's 3 years today since we began this journey back in 2021, and time flew, and it's only fitting that I called upon Farad from Popcorn Reviews, who was the part of the very first review we did of the Great Indian Kitchen, along with a few other friends of ours. And 3 years have gone by, and we have not looked back. Farad already was running Popcorn Reviews website, and then he got onto his YouTube channel as well. And I just thought it makes sense that I talk about Malayalam cinema today on the third anniversary of this channel, because it's Malayalam cinema and Malayalam films and the audience from Kerala who have helped me grow this channel the most out of all other industries and audiences, because we have been uh, fans of Malayalam films, Malayalam cinema, especially Fahad Fasil. Because I remember after The Great Indian Kitchen, we did Joji back to back, the two reviews we did. And that's how my love for Malayalam cinema grew over the years. And so here we are. And, thank you, Farad, for joining. It means a
Pleasure.
lot that, 3 years later, how much we have grown, not just on as a YouTuber, but also as a I won't say critic. Like I don't really consider myself as a film critic, but I would just say that just watching all these Malayalam films over the years, I think we have grown as somebody who appreciates films, right?
Absolutely. And firstly, thank you for having me. And what a time to come back on your channel, right? Malayalam films are absolutely killing it
Yeah,
in 2024. It has been a phenomenal year. I think the year that we started was a phenomenal year. The year after that was a phenomenal year. 23 was not a great year for the Malayalam film industry. And that's when people, when they started writing, writing the industry of that, oh, even their actors are now started working in other industries and this and
mm,
that. Nothing wrong in that,
mm,
working in other industries, which I, by what I mean, but it's, hard to put a good industry down for too long, I feel. And
yeah,
that actually sums up the 2024 of the Malayalam film industry, where the mojo is back. All the, at least the major films are doing well. Maybe the smaller ones may not be doing as well, but they would be definitely benefiting from the popularity of the bigger films that are there. And yeah, everyone, all the mainstream Malayalam film actors are in form. And I'd done a video on that as well on my channel.
yeah,
That Mammootty is in form. Mohanlal did find form, although the film didn't work as well. Um, Fahad Fazil is in form. You
yeah,
have Shobin Shahir who's in form. You have Vinay Fort who's in form.
mm,
From the top of my head, I can recall even someone like Pranav Mohanlal, whose film has worked, Dhyan Srinivasan, whose film has worked, Varshangalkku. So
yeah,
everybody is in form at the moment. Even Arjun Ashokan, I think you're
yeah,
forgetting him as well.
absolutely.
Arjun
Yeah,
Ashokan,
yeah,
amazing actor. So it's been a wonderful 2024. And yeah, Nivin Pauly also in Varshangalkku, and now Malayali from India. I don't know how the reception is yet. Today it has released, but yeah, hoping for the best. Also, Tovino Thomas. So I have named
yeah,
everyone other than Dulquer Salman. I think whose
yeah,
film is about to come, not a Malayalam film, but a Telugu film, Lucky Bhaskar. But other than that, everyone is informed. So it's been a great year so far for the Malayalam film industry, and we are still in April, and we are still in May rather. May has started today, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I mean, in
um,
the first 4 months, we have
and I
seen.
already, yeah, and I had already said that on my channel as well, that, you know, I already have my top 10 films, almost like almost every other film is in the top 10 list for me. So I may have to do a multiple list of that, like I'd done in 22, not in 23. Unfortunately, it was a dip year for the Malayalam films as per their standards, of course, you can
Yeah.
say. But yeah, it's so far been a very promising year.
No,
Hey,
and
Chaco.
so Chaco has commented, thank you, Chaco, to you as well for.
And I must say thank you to Chaco also. He's been recommending me so many lovely films that are there. And he's been such a great supporter for me and you, both of our channels that are there. So
Yeah,
thank you so much, for all your love that you've given.
yeah, yeah,
And we look
absolutely.
forwarding to, to a healthier collab going forward as well. So
And
thank
not
you so
just
much.
him, Bifer also comes on all our chats, and you know,
Yeah, Vaifar also. Yeah, he's a loyalist on my channel. Yeah, thank
yeah.
I Vaifar. Yeah,
So he has seen 5 movies this year. His favorite is Avesham. And then there's Muhammad Sharafat as well. Thank you for the comment. So yeah, I mean, I don't think without these people we would have been doing what we have been doing for 3 years and more. And
absolutely.
it's if not for I'm being very blunt and honest. If not for Malayalam films and audience, I might have discontinued my channel long ago because it gives so much of inspiration to continue to make such content because it feels nice that they care about what you think about these films and uh, because as a non-Malayali and as a non-Malayalam speaking audience we might have a different point of view than them, and that's what I
Mm.
think that's the bond we have formed, so to speak. And Shelly has also been, a regular here, and so thank you so much. It's our third anniversary. Uh,
Yeah, Shelly, follow Popcorn Reviews as well.
yes, please go and follow. Shelly has been very generous with her super chats. So
I
look at
see
that.
her comments on your channel. Yeah, I see
Look
her
at that.
comments. Yeah.
Look at that,
There
Farad.
you
I
go.
mean, this is so generous of you. Thank you so much. And I think coming back to the original discussion. So, as you said, like 2023 was not as good up to the standards that the benchmark that they have set. So, what do you think has been different this year? Has it been the topics they've chosen to make films upon? Has it been the conviction in performances, or but because it's a collective thing, it's not like one sleeper hit or one this or that. Across genres, across different styles of filmmaking, across topics, everything has mostly worked. So what do you think has been the secret ingredient this time?
So I would like to just go a little back, when Malayalam film industry was actually doing well in 2022, and probably at the end of 2022, we all thought that, oh, it is, like the number one film industry in terms of content quality. It was at that point, definitely. This until, when 2023 came along, and you have to take into account that it is Malayalam film industry did not do too much wrong as much as what the Hindi film industry and the popularity of the Hindi films in that year happened.
Yeah.
You had Shah Rukh Khan's comeback coinciding. You had a mini comeback of Salman Khan as well, if you can call it, with Tiger 3. You had Sunny
Yeah.
Deol coming back. So there was a lot of other content that people were recepting to, in which the Malayalam film content went a little down, not because of the quality, only in terms of the reception that is there. Now,
Mm.
I would also like to say, as a bifurcation to this argument, that in 2023, that is there, as per me, my reading of the situation is that Malayalam film industry did not know what it would stand for. Did it
Mm.
want to go pan India? Did it not want to go pan India? Was it okay with just doing, the slice of life kind of films that were there? Every other film was a slice of life film. Only I
Yeah.
think as far as I remember, 2018 was an event film, and I think we'd watched that together in 2023. It
Right.
was a massive hit. But on either side of that, there weren't much.
Wasn't it
Having
2022?
said that,
I think it was 2022 when we watched it together.
no, it was the last year. Last year, it
No.
was sent to the Oscars as well. 2018. The film 2018 is what I'm saying. It was last year.
Right. Okay. I
Oscars.
was
It was
thinking.
India's Oscars.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. That's the
it's
one
been a
we watched.
year. I think it
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
1 year
Yeah.
of that also in this week.
Right.
So I was saying that having said that, if you notice someone like a Mammootty, he had always been consistent with his choices that are there, with the range of choices. And that is something that I think, it clicked later on in the year as well with Kannur Squad, with Katal.
Mm.
Even then, towards the end of the year, even Mohanlal came into the picture with the Jitu Joseph directed film Nera.
And
And
not to forget Nanpakal at the beginning of last year. I
Nanpakal was
mean,
at the beginning of the year in Jan. He had a minor blip as well. Mammootty, unlike Mammootty, it
mm,
was Christopher that was there was a minor blip that
mm,
was there. But the reason being that I think the major I think disappointment came in the form of King of Kotha. When that was planned to be a pan India film, and that
yeah,
didn't work, and a smaller film with that RDX rose to the occasion in compared to that. Whereas that film was being trolled before the theatrical release, saying that, oh, it's
right.
coming with King of Kota, they're going to
Mm,
have it. I feel that the identity of what it wanted to stand for, whether it wanted to be a pan India industry, I think Malayalam is the only industry that hasn't given a pan India hit until 2024, when it was Manjumal Boys that eventually became a super hit, I think, across
do you
the
think?
country.
Do you think it's still? Do you still think it's still a pan? Would you call it a pan India hit?
I
Because
wouldn't really call it a pan-India film per se in
yeah,
the purest form of the word, but the Hindi dub version did do well.
okay.
So anything that
Because
does well in the Hindi belt or other languages, and I think I'm coming to that point also. What went well in 2024? I made another video on that on my channel as well. Popcorn reviews that. The setting of the Malayalam films that are there. You see the setting of the Malayalam films this year, whether it is Manjumal Boys. Uh, I know Manjumal Boys is a set, but the setting in the film was not of Kerala. I think Premalu was again not Kerala. What was the other film? Aavesham was again Bangalore. It
mm,
was not Kerala. All
yeah,
these films that are there, these are of the 100 crore gross club, right? So
mm,
I think this is the new definition that they are exploring the Malayalam film industry, wherein they're not setting their films in the local area, instead setting it in a totally different setting. And I
right.
remember I think it was last year when not Prashant Naran, I'm forgetting the director's name. I'll
Which
just
movie?
check that up. But his film Declaration, Ariyuppu had come on Netflix.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was
But
that was
I
set
think
in Delhi.
I think that was end of 2022.
Was it end of 22?
Hmm.
Okay, may
Because
have
I
been.
remember watching it. It came in IFFK in 22, and it came on Netflix at the end of
Netflix,
that
I
year.
think it came later on. I'm just Googling it.
No, no, I remember watching it on Netflix, and if you remember,
Mahesh
we
Narayanan. Mahesh
yeah, yeah,
Narayanan.
right. If you remember, we
So
discussed it
either way,
as well on
yeah,
my
we had.
channel with my director. Yeah,
So my point being that with that film and say something like a Kunnu Squad, even for that matter, Nan Pakal, these weren't films that were set in Kerala, right? They were, so to say, set elsewhere with a little part in Kerala. I think we are even forgetting Adu Jeevitam this year. Adu Jeevitam again was not set entirely in Kerala. Entirely it was set in Algeria, Jordan,
yeah,
shot there. So what I feel is that this is the new formula, you can say, that is working at the moment for the Malayalam film industry, that you're not setting, and there are exceptions to the rule for sure. You have a Bramayugam, which
yeah.
absolutely is in the northern belt of Kerala, the Malabar region.
Mm.
And What other films? Atom, I think, was purely set in the I think the hills of Kerala somewhere. I think it was Munnar. I'm not sure, but
But do you think?
yeah.
Uh,
So
do you think is it
that is
just
it.
a coincidence, or has it actually played a big role of where the film is based? Like, can't it be a coincidence?
I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it was a very conscious decision, at least on parts of Premalu. I think we had watched Jeetu Madhavan's film last year, Romancham, which was also set
Mm.
in Bangalore, and you know his fascination for Bangalore. So Avesham definitely would be set in Bangalore, even at the
Mm.
writing stage. Premalu, I
Mm.
think if it had been set in Kerala somewhere, the film may not have worked as well, because the entire city of Hyderabad added a new flavor and zing to the drama,
And even
and
even Varshangalkku was in Chennai mostly.
Varshangalkku, yeah, it was said to be Chennai in the film, part of it. Though it wasn't shot in Chennai, but I think Varshangalkku had a different issue. Although I'd loved the film, I think issue was the expectations versus the reality thing. The people went in thinking it is a comedy, but it wasn't
Right.
entirely a comedy. It was a drama. It was drama. It was an emotional drama with bouts of comedy in it. And I think that is where the discrepancy happened, which is why I had made a video on Malayali from India and why I was worried about the film. Because the film, if you watch the initial very early kind of a snippet, it seemed like a comedy. The world Malayalam and Malayali anthem that was there was in the fun space, but the teaser when it came, it seemed a little serious and a far cry from what I had an image of the film. And so
Mm.
I said, oh, this is again heading that way. I'm a little worried, but I don't know what the verdict is, and I will definitely watch it over the weekend. Let's see.
Yeah, it's on my watch list as well. Mostly.
Yeah.
Bifur said, Fafa said, Avesham chose Bangalore because people from Kerala feel the story doesn't fit the region. Uh, I mean, it's purely hindsight now. We can only think, how it would have panned out had it been set in Kerala, and how people would have discussed it. But interesting thing with Avesham. So because I'm such a huge Fafa fan, I went into theaters watching that film without seeing the trailer because I
Hmm.
wanted to because there was already so much of hype around his character that reintroducing Fahad Fasil and everything. So I just wanted to get surprised and oh boy,
I
like
don't think they'd
how
released the trailer as well, by the way. Avesham released directly without the trailers. I think something like
was there
Malayali from India did
really
not have an official
there was
trailer.
no.
Yeah, it was just a teaser probably, but not a trailer.
So
I think it
I
was
didn't
directly, that's
consume
when he
any
started really.
I didn't consume any sort of information. No, uh, and I watched it late as well. So I was trying to be away from all the reviews. All of my friends had put reviews. You had put a review. Nona had put a review. Ashmi, that I was trying to keep it away so that I'm completely surprised and it was worth not getting it was worth not having any information and then going directly and just like Bifur, for me as well, it's so far the my favorite Malayalam film of this year. And so you were talking about Varshangalkku Shesham. So let's come on that for a minute now. People have been, I've been reading lately, so people have been calling it too mellow. Like, like they are not used to this much of sweetness and, this much of happy ending and these kind of films in Malayalam cinema. And when they've got it, they're not able to accept it in a way, or they're not able to digest the fact that how can it all be so happy go lucky, everything is everything working out at the end of the film. And so did you feel the same way, like it was it too sweet in a way?
So the thing about Varshangalkku Shesham for me was that exactly what was the case for you with Aavesham, right? So
Right.
also when I had gone, to watch say a Premalu or something, the trailer was playing, but there were no subtitles in the trailer, so I did not understand the context or anything. So I did not know anything basically about what the film was about. And so when I watched it, I was pleasantly surprised. I did not go with a um, pre-thinking thinking that it would be like a comedy, or I didn't know what to expect. I just went in and I absolutely loved it. And one of the reasons why, I don't know whether you have you watched the film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the reasons why I think we'll appreciate that film a little more is because that such films aren't made anywhere else in the country, right? It's not made in Hindi at all now. There was once upon a time when Raju Hirani was making, a
Yeah,
bank out of such films. But
yeah.
with Donkey, I think he went horribly wrong. But other than that, I don't see this genre being absolutely attempted at all. So it was something fresh for me. It was new for me. I didn't mind the, and I don't think it was melodramatic. I don't think it was melodramatic. I think it had its heart in the right place. It definitely was filled with a lot of sweetness. That is
Hmm.
for sure. But it's always a question, right? How much sweetness is too much sweetness? And I didn't mind this. I like this sugar rush in the film. So it worked for me. It worked very well for me. But I think the feedback that I got on my video, as well as on some of the social media sites, that probably the film isn't up to the mark, isn't up to the same level. I mean, that's a perspective, opinion everyone can have, but I think it is more of an expectation versus a reality for that film, although the film is still an industry hit. It has still worked at the
Yeah.
box office.
It has, like, so see, there is a difference between something working on box office versus something being critically acclaimed, right? There have been many examples across industries, like, so in that sense, like, so I also felt like my first impression when I walked out of theater from that film was like, how we were talking about, like, 2023 was not that great a year because of the benchmark Malayalam cinema set. Same way I felt with this film. Like, I thought that the benchmark of Malayalam cinema, this is not a bad film, but this is also not one of those extraordinary films that you will remember for a long time, right? This is like a good one time watcher. And uh, we have seen, of course, melodramatic films in the past as well from this industry, but something that people were sort of complaining about in this film, as you said, was stemming down to the fact that they were expecting more comedy, and
Yeah.
they ended up getting more drama over there. Uh, but performances wise, you cannot complain. Both of them did such a fab job. And even
Wonderful job. Yeah.
the supporting cast as well. I absolutely loved the fact that Nivin Pauly was sporting enough to actually do a satirical role on himself, playing himself, a version of himself. And and as you said just before the video started, how we were talking that Malayali from India has not got good reviews, and that was his actual, that was his pickle in the film, that was his beef in the film, that why my films are not working. And I hope that it gets better over the weekend, or gets better word of mouth or something. But for him to be portraying that role, uh, it kind of reminded me of how like in Tees Marka, Akshay Khanna had played that role. So exaggerated sort of
It was
version.
done very well. That humor, that I think he and most people will agree with that. Small role, big impact. Nivin Pauly in the
Yeah,
second half of
him
Varshangalkku, I
and
think he
him and
and
even
people why a reason why it may have worked. A large chunk of it would go to Nivin Pauly also,
yeah,
despite it being a
yeah,
slightly smaller role. Yeah,
yeah,
he
and
definitely
also
owned the stage.
the guy who directed Minal Murli, I'm forgetting his name. He
Basil Joseph,
Basil Joseph, like, he also played that role of assistant director to
assistant
perfection.
director.
Like, he looked every part. And who would say that, so somebody who's new to Malayalam industry, if you told him that this guy
He's the
has
director.
directed the first proper superhero film of Malayalam industry, which was a huge Netflix hit.
In a
And
budget of 18 crores, beat that.
yeah, and
It's a
and he was all
shoestring budget.
and he did an absolutely 360-degree opposite role in Jaya Jaya Jaya, which was
Jai
another
Jai
huge
Jai.
hit. So when it comes to talent, these people are absolutely crazy, insanely talented.
Absolutely.
And they uh, fill different shoes with so much of effortlessness and ease now. The
And
three
I
years which
think
I've
that's
been
also
seeing.
another reason. That's also another reason that, the actors take up multiple jobs as well. Like
Yeah,
Vineet Srinivasan, who's the director of
yeah,
Ashangal, who's also an actor.
yeah. He
Shobin
was
Shahir also has
driving the car,
directed
right?
it.
He was a driver, right?
Yeah, he was a driver,
Vineet,
taxi
yeah,
driver, correct.
yeah,
Shobin Shahir has also directed a film. He's
yeah.
also a technician. Basil Joseph is also a director, also an actor. So Prithviraj Sukumaran is also a director. Um,
Dilish Potan.
so
Dilish Potan
yeah,
is
so he's
another
made
example.
Dilish Pothan as well. So there are it does help, when you are
Yeah,
behind the
yeah.
camera, front of the camera. It definitely does,
And
help
so,
your cause when you're more empathetic. You work as a team, even if something goes wrong. For example, even Manjumal boys, every other, I think, actor, one of the boys that were there, they are directors in their own capacity. Khalid
mm,
Rehman was there. I think Lal Jr., who has a movie coming up now. this
Yeah,
weekend. Nadikar with Tovino Thomas. He had directed, by the way, Driving License earlier.
right.
So they all are
Yeah,
directors. They know
and
they are multifaceted. Just don't stick to acting. Just don't stick to directing.
and this
Either
got me
Mahesh
thinking.
Narayanan, we did talk. He's an editor also.
This got
He's a
me thinking.
cinematographer also.
This got me thinking how there are countless examples here, and I can hardly think of one or two names in
Yes.
Bollywood. Like, people who direct and act with the same finesse. It's. I mean,
I
you
think
can't really.
only Ajay Devgan, I think, is a good technician in the Hindi belt.
Right, right, right.
Better than what I consider him as an actor. Sunny Deol has done it less effectively.
I mean,
Um,
we have seen
yeah.
Anurag Kashyap act, but that's like
Um,
hardly you won't really.
I wouldn't call him an actor. With all due respect, he's a great
Yeah,
director, but actor is okay.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, this is also like, now that just doing this analysis, this has got me thinking. This might be another reason why they have been
Yeah,
making such sort of cinema which stands out, because of them being multi-skilled and multi-talented, and doing different
absolutely.
roles at the same time in a project. So that really helps. I'm sure it helps, because being a musician. So before, a few years ago, I didn't used to write lyrics, and when I started doing that, it helped me understand different facets of music as well. So I'm sure it's the same with filmmaking too. If you edit, if you write scripts, if you act, if you direct, so doing different hats together. So in that sense, yeah. Now, going back to another film that I really enjoyed. So we briefly touched upon the goat life, and how you said Manjumal Boys ended up becoming sort of a pan India, the Hindi dub you said. But don't you think that Goat Life was also kind of being labeled as that pan India film, which was much awaited from Kerala?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think I have a twofold answer to this. Manjumal Boys, firstly, for the pan India audience, not for the Malayalam audience, but for the pan India audience, came out of syllabus. It was
Mm.
absolutely not on the radar of anybody. It was on the radar of us because we do cover Malayalam films
Yeah.
and we have been recommending it. We have been getting recommendations. I think I got a recommendation from Chaco that this is a movie that is coming up. But for the rest of India, no, it wasn't, right? But at the same time, Goat Life, I felt was much more international in its appeal, in the aesthetics that was there, in the way it was shot. In fact, I had also said it in my review on my channel, Popcorn Reviews, that the Goat Life can be officially India's entry into the Academy Awards. It's a strong contender at the moment. I don't see any film from the Hindi belt at the moment which is there. Not from any art industry. I think all of them are partially or completely struggling with good content that is
What
there. I
about
don't care about the box
what
office,
about
to be
what
honest. If we
about
are going
what about Lapata Ladies?
Lapata Ladies is a strong contender as well, and that's probably the only other contender that I see. Only two of them are there, and probably an outside chance to Bramayugam. But other than that, I don't see any other film at the moment that is there. It's still early days, right? I mean,
Yeah, still
there's
in
still
May.
time for the Oscar, yeah. So it there will be. I think it will be probably in June or July when you will be submitting your nomination officially. And but yeah, absolutely. Adu Jivitam, the amount of effort that Prithviraj put in, my God, absolutely recommended. It was my favorite theatrical experience, not only in 2024, but in years. Um,
Wow.
my favorite theatrical experience by a margin, I think, and it was quite immersive. It had the beats of the typical Malayalam film, with a world building and characterization in the first hour, but the second hour, I think, has to be one of my favorite second hours. Absolutely, in years, I would say that
That's a
entire
huge statement.
journey. I was almost guilty of even having water. That was the kind of impact that the film had on me, and I'm absolutely sure that it may not have. half the impact when it comes out on OTT, but
Yeah.
the theatrical experience was just something else. And by the way, it did well. The film was a massive hit in India as well. Answer to Shelley.
Yeah, I think in India, so I watched it a few days later here in Mumbai once it released with the subtitles near me, and it was a like a midday show on a weekday, and that was full. Like I got second row tickets, so and that was also in the middle of Ramzan, I think, and a lot of people would have been
Yeah, the
fasting as
Ramzan
well at
was
that
very
time.
good.
So so people were filling the theaters at the time, and uh, you know it's a testament that a name like Rahman was also a part of that project. And this project had been in the making for many years. They first came up with the idea
16
in
years.
2009 or 8,
Yeah, eight.
from when they wanted to adapt the book. And Shelley, have you seen it in the US? Like, how is the reception in the states? If you can tell us as well. Uh, so she says, loved the book and movie. I wish that
Oh,
movie had.
is
Oh, she's
read the
already
book as
answered
well.
it.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, like, so she's saying she wished if it was marketed better in the US. I'm sure. So if our wish comes true and if it goes for the the run for the Oscar, maybe just like RRR, it makes a mark over there as well. Who knows? Uh, and it gives me so much immense pleasure to see that somebody like a Shelley in US has named this
Antakal
difficult.
Netramayakam.
She has written it properly. She has done the research. Every spelling is correct, and I'm not sure if she can pronounce it as well. But for her to be this also shows that Malayalam cinema has fans in the US as well who don't even speak Hindi. How how these films have been transcending across borders and languages and everything. Uh, so overall, yeah, I mean, that's where we started this discussion that what's been different this year in 2024. It's not just the who's who of Malayalam industry. It's also the conviction with which they have made these films, and they have chosen these topics and subjects to talk about, and to portray. Uh, how what about your channel? Like, so in 2024, which movie review has garnered the most response so far?
It is Brahmayugam, close to 10K, close to 10K. It's not completely 10K yet, but Brahmayugam, I think, was the one film that worked. I think all Mamuka fans probably watched my video. And yeah, and that film was incredibly good. From director Rahul, who had directed Bhutakalam
Mm,
prior to this. Amazing film, amazing sense of aesthetics with a horror genre.
yeah.
It was not your typical, Vikram Bhatt kind of a run-on-the-mill kind of a horror. It was atmospheric and Mammootty again. I mean,
Mm,
at 72, I think he's far ahead of everybody. All the peers, all the contemporaries, nobody, even in India, nobody stands a chance in terms of the quality of content that he chooses. I think you can almost smell a good script, which is why I'm
yeah.
excited also for Turbo, although it is from the director of Christopher again.
Mm.
But let's hope Turbo also turns out to be another. It's coming out later this month, and it
It's
has
kind of
Rajvi
like
Shetty in it as well.
yeah, it's kind of like like at one time how Amir Khan used to he had the knack of picking the right subjects, and
Absolutely,
everything would work. So that's been the case here. uh, and
absolutely.
on my channel, I think Avesham did the most amount of views recently, and somebody Auden just said Ranga, so that just reminded me that Avesham has really connected with people in a way that they probably didn't see coming, because the way Fahad Fasil has reprised himself, and this if you see the his interview with Bardoj Rangan, He was also, I think, giving the reference of Amir Khan as well in that interview, uh,
Hmm.
and he also said that, for me this chapter is done. Like, I won't ever do a character like Ranga or a film like Avesham again. So that's another USP of him, and in general, reflecting Malayalam cinema, that, once something is done, they don't fixate on that. And that's something with Bollywood, that, okay, this work, let's continue with this formula, be it music or films.
Absolutely. There's a franchise that is waiting, as a cash grab. Absolutely. Once anything that works in Bollywood, it just becomes a trend. Every other film is that they try to emulate that. Not only in Bollywood, yeah. Why only Bollywood? I think even the Telugu film industry does that. It's still doing that.
Yeah.
It's still making films, where, rich versus poor, same kind of treatment. I wouldn't even know which film is what if I don't know the names, it's something like that. So Telugu, Tamil, I think is doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Although this year hasn't been as good. Um, Kannada was, I think, exceptional in the 2022 year. Last year also it picked up in the second half of the year. This year has been rather cold at the moment, but Kannada is another film industry that does fight it through with all the content that it wants to produce. I think it has the knack of pushing through projects which are not mainstream, so to say,
Hmm.
and they do that. I think even Tamil is up to an extent doing that. Telugu is still fixated on Pushpa and all of that that is there, and Pushpa and all will work, by the way. But the
Right, right.
problem is not Pushpa. I just want to clear it out. The problem is not Pushpa. The problem is other films trying to emulate the success of Pushpa and
Yeah.
trying to be in that. That is the issue with the Telugu film industry that I see. Although the films are doing well, so I mean, who am I to say anything? The films, as long it's a business at the end of the day, and if it's doing well, I would want all films to do well. If it's doing well, great, continue.
Yeah, and given the success of Avesham, and also, its plot line, and, it's the way it's been established in Bangalore and everything. I'm sure, just like Romancham, somebody in Bollywood is gonna pick it up and, make
Oh,
a remake
damn.
of it. Yeah, because as you know, Romancham is being remade, so I'm sure, we are not too far away from the day when we'll hear the announcement that, somebody's remaking Avesham as well, and somebody's gonna spoil what Fafa did. I'm not 100% sure, but 80% sure that, that's mostly been the case. And
Problem
even,
with remakes is that, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just continuing on Avesham only, that I was, pleasantly surprised to know that those three guys are YouTubers.
Yeah,
They were not
yeah,
even.
they are YouTube. First
Yeah,
film, yeah.
that's such a. It's like a, like how we are into crickets, right? So somebody scouting some raw talent, playing gully cricket or something, and, just putting them in the main league, and, they work for them.
Are you trying to say we'll be stars too someday in a film?
I mean, I would be happy being a musician someday, a star musician someday, but, who knows? But
Casting
it's
directors, if you're watching this video, cast us. It's okay.
well, I've been doing theater recently, guys, so please.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, no. See, in all seriousness, those three guys, until I saw late. So as I told you, I went watching Avesham knowing nothing about it. So I had no idea these were not professional actors. And after that, I researched a little bit on the film, and that's when I got to know, oh my god, these are YouTubers, and that's their first film. uh, it's not just them, but also for the casting directors and the director to choose them. Even Fahad Fasil, who's the producer of the film as well, to take that risk on those guys, because they have to be performing with him in the same frame in
Yeah.
this so many scenes. So, for that to happen, all of them have to come onto the same page, and the portrayal shows, not just on the paper, it's in the visuals as well. So that's, hats off to them for picking those guys, scouting those guys, and, do you think they would have written keeping them in mind, or they would have written it first and then, they would have gone to those guys?
I am not sure, but
If you were to,
I don't
you know,
know. I really don't know. I mean, but it was definitely a gutsy decision. It was a
yeah,
bold decision, mostly a bold decision because the film then was only going to be sold on the shoulders of Fahad Fazil and up to an
yeah,
extent Jeetu Madhavan, who was fresh off the success of Romancham.
yeah,
But these were important characters. They were there virtually in every frame together, right? So you
yeah,
needed some actors at least who would hold the attention, hold the scene together. So I would say they were great, casting decisions that were there at the end of the day. Each one of them brought something unique to the table,
yeah,
and I think they were fabulous. And whoever is the casting director, kudos to that. And we need such risks to be taken even
yeah,
in other industries. Same thing like you just brought the topic out right now that suppose if Avesham has to be made in Hindi, you are definitely not going to cast three young people. Even if it's going to be there, will be there some guy who has some connection. You would have seen him somewhere in the
yeah,
media. It will not be three guys that are typically unknown, right?
yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't see that happening, even in the, if it's, please, first of all, stay away from this remake. Do not make it. But if you plan to make it, please get the casting right. And don't try to be overtly original, just copy paste. You
No,
will
I
be
just
fine
hope
with that. Dude.
I just hope Fahad doesn't give out the rights to anybody, because as he said that, for him, like he said, Avesham is done, and now he's gonna move on to the next project. So maybe he applies the same formula there, that Avesham, if it's remade, it'll lose its novelty, right?
It
It'll
will,
lose
right?
the
Yeah.
character that it has. So let it be, just one off. Because you remember like how we once reviewed Millie, which was the remake of that Malayalam film, and it
Yeah.
just didn't add any value, right? Because it's frame by frame, it's almost a
It was a
copy.
frame. It
And
was directed by the same director as well.
yeah, I mean, it didn't make sense to me. Why are you doing a frame by frame thing
Helen.
just because?
Original was Helen.
Right. It's just portrayed by a different set of actors who speak different language. Unless it's a different adaptation, if the screenplay is different, that still makes sense. But if you're doing exactly the same thing, people can just watch the Hindi dub of the original. That
Absolutely.
a Hindi dubbing actor
And
might have done a better job than Janvi Kapoor.
And I'm absolutely not in favor of the remix at all at the moment, at all. Because then where is the originality?
Yeah,
Why are you even then fooling the audience? And times of OTT, it would have worked, say, a couple of decades ago, right? When there wasn't access to OTT. And we all knew that that time there were remakes that were happening. And because we hadn't watched the original, the remix did work, right? But thankfully, not many are coming out this year. Thankfully, but yeah, Romancham remake is
who's
there.
have you any idea like who's
Shreyas
making or
Talpade
who's
and
acting?
Shreyas Talpade and Tushar Kapoor. I don't know how Tushar Kapoor is going to enact the role of Arjun Ashokan. God
Oh my
knows.
god.
And you know what the funny part was that when the first look was out, they did not even acknowledge that it was a remake of Romancham until people started pointing out, oh, this looks like Romancham. And that's how it started gathering steam. So it's rather unfortunate that if you are actually, doing it, at least give credit to the original
Yeah,
makers. How
yeah,
hard is that? I'm sure you must have done it with the rights. If you've not, that's illegal, right? You can be
yeah,
sued for that. So at least when you're promoting it, be honest enough and say that, yeah, this is an adaptation. That's the new norm of remake, right? They don't call it remake, they call it an adaptation and inspiration, all these pseudo terms that are there. And I wouldn't even for that matter call Drishyam 2 an adaptation at all. Okay.
mm,
Drishyam 1 worked and that's why Drishyam 2 worked. As
yeah,
simple as that. And Drishyam 3 will work because of the franchise credibility that is there. But it wasn't a per se an adaptation in a way. It was a remake. It was a remake, right? Yeah.
yeah,
The setting was different in Drishyam. It was Goa as compared to, I think, the original, which was not in Goa. It was in Kerala only. That is the difference,
mm.
definitely. But it was still, I would say, as close a remake as you would say.
But that's still okay. I mean, in the sense that it was remade in Tamil as well. It was remade in other languages, so that you understand that at least. But uh, coming back to 2024, one film which we still haven't touched upon is Premalu. Uh,
Premalu.
why do you think that clicked? Because that was again another sleeper hit, just like Manjumal Boys. And nobody expected that to,
Absolute sleeper hit.
do well, or and again, young actors and everything. So, uh, what do you think worked in that film for the audiences?
So interestingly, with Premalu, there was a huge film that was coming out called Aavesham Kanditam, starring Tovino Thomas, which was the pre-buzz favorite, as you would say. Premalu was a smaller film, directed by a director who had earlier directed another smaller film. Shanaya. What was the name? The name of the film was something Shanaya.
Okay.
Um, so Girish, by the way, was the director, Girish Odi. And slowly, I think the word of mouth picked in for that film, and I happened to watch it in the second week in the theater, in a city like Bombay, right, which is unheard of to keep, so to say, a non-Hindi film for that long in a theater. And I still watched it in the second week, and it was full. I didn't hardly just about got tickets, and
Goat Life was there for 4 weeks at least. I kept seeing
absolutely.
it in the theaters in the list. Yeah.
Absolutely. And and one thing I think that worked with Primalu was its honesty. It wasn't
Mm,
trying to be something smarter than what it was. It wasn't that.
mm,
Plus the setting, as I said, of Hyderabad, the songs were, I think, excellent. Of course, the honest performances by the Lees Naslin and Mamita, was it? I think Mamita Baiju, right? She was there. I think the humor clicked, the writing clicked. I think probably that was a bigger hit in Andhra
Kerala.
circuit as compared to Kerala also. I think that's
Okay.
why the entire gross of the film was, I think, 136 crores at the end of the
So
day,
in
which
Andhra
was a
circuit,
great.
you're saying the Malayalam language was bigger hit, or the dubbed
So
version of Telugu?
So the dubbed Telugu version worked there, and
Okay.
that is the funny thing because I think the people of Hyderabad, they and the other parts of Andhra and Telangana, they lapped it up that this is the film that is so close to our heart, which also means that the audience is receptive to such films. Which is
Yeah.
why I have a problem with the Telugu film industry not trying to experiment with genres. They have the ability, they have done films like Awe. They have done a wonderful film
Sitaraman.
at the start of the year like Hanuman. That was against the norm. It was a superhero film.
Sitaraman worked there
And
as well, right? Which
Sita
was
Ramam
again,
worked as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Absolutely. So you're not experimenting. That is my problem. My gripe with the Telugu film industry. You're just being formulaic with your films, right?
Hmm.
And that's one of the reasons. Premalu is a big eye opener, by the way, of why the film worked. It was
Yeah.
definitely set in the city of Hyderabad, most definitely set, but it still had to be good with its writing that was there, and it was a nice film. It was at the end of the day a happy film, and the happy
Yeah.
films come as a refreshing change at the time when thrillers, and every other film is a thriller, every other film is an actioner, and every other film has a topic of Pakistan.
Oh my
So
God,
all of
don't
that
even
is
get
there.
me
So
started on that. That's altogether a different topic. Why every second film has violence in it, and you just cannot wrap your head around it. It's a different
absolutely.
conversation for another day. Sayed says
Okay.
Premalu had bigger hype than Anveship in Kanditam. Girish had
I'm sure
already
you'll be
gave
correct.
one blockbuster and one super hit before. Also, Naslin Mamita pairing and Fahad.
I'm sure that would be correct, because this is something that I'm talking from a non-Kerala state kind of a perspective. That's the
Right.
perspective that, from a pan-India perspective, I was saying that the bigger film was Anveshipin because it had Tovino Thomas, a better known star as compared to folks from Premalu at Naslin, and they were actors, but not quite known to the Hindi belt, is what I meant. But yeah. I am
Like
sure it would have a better hype there.
I think like like he's saying it had bigger hype. Probably he's talking from the Kerala perspective. Like, but like
Yeah, you'd be
being
right. Yeah.
outsider. Yeah, and being outsider for us, like even somebody, both of us who watch a lot of Malayalam cinema, for us,
Hmm.
I don't think like I, I don't want to speak for you, but for me, Premalu it didn't have the same hype which at the end of the day, the film it ended up becoming, right? That's why we were
Yeah, it did
surprised.
have. Yeah, in fact, I remember in one of our WhatsApp groups that was there, I think there was some stray comment that came that, are you going to watch Premalu? And no, there was no hype. And this is not a Kerala WhatsApp group that was there. It was a normal group and, cinephile group, you can say. But
Hmm.
yeah, and that's when even I had that time, I remember saying that no, I probably won't watch Premalu in the theater. I would probably watch it when it comes out on OTT. But then eventually, the buzz that was there in that one week prompted me to
Hmm.
go in the second week and watch the film in a theater. And I'm glad I did. Absolutely loved it. It was um, so hilarious and refreshingly different that I had a gala time. And I also had a comment from one of my friends back from Kerala saying that this may not exactly work with the English subtitles that are there because much of the humor might be lost
Hmm.
with the loss in translation that is there with the Malayalam to English subtitles that are there. But it worked for me. I absolutely loved the film, and I think when the content and the core emotions are on point now, that showed that even the writing was on point, that it did translate to beyond the language also, even
Yeah, and
especially true when it comes to comedy. And when it comes to comedy, I think that is when the film gets a bit restricted, you can say, for people who don't understand the local language. But if it still works, then I think it's the credit to the writer. So yeah.
I got a similar comment on Avesham as well on my channel. Somebody said that I pity you that you don't understand Malayalam because the humor in Avesham for Malayalam speaking audiences it hits on a different level than the
It
subtitle reading
pity us
audience.
also. We pity each other. There was this one day I was just sitting and saying that I just wish I knew Malayalam language. I mean, there was so much more to to explore, to
Yeah.
understand. That it would really help our channels. But unfortunately, I've tried to learn, and I can now pick up a few words here and there. Also, I'm sure you can too. But I don't think it's enough to to converse or to actually read or to understand the entire phrases that are there. So
By the way,
we'll see.
I absolutely loved whenever Fafa spoke Hindi in Aavesham. It was a
We should do Hindi film also soon. I mean, the
I mean,
Hindi audience
he
still
must
does
be
not know. Yeah,
working on his Hindi first, I think. So we heard him speak a little bit here, and I think in a couple of other films also he's tried speaking Hindi in a few scenes. I remember, but
yeah.
as he said in an interview that he wants to think in that language. So until he thinks in that language, he cannot do that language film. So
He
that's
did
why he has
Pushpa
done
though.
Tamil.
He's done
Who knows?
Pushpa though.
Who knows if he's more fluent in Telugu than Hindi, maybe.
And his
Uh,
what was his name? His name was Bhairo Singh, right? In Pushpa.
yeah.
He was a Hindi speaking character, by the way. Just putting it out there.
So Sayed says it didn't have the hype like no one expected it will be 100 crore film. That was a
Yeah, no one
surprise.
did.
But comparison
No
with
one did.
Aavesham had more hype. Premalu had better opening in box office as well. Well,
Yeah,
that's the
that
thing that and again he says Fahad production made. Yeah, Premalu was produced by Fahad as well, so that's another
absolutely. Yeah,
win.
200
Yeah,
crore films in a year. In the first quarter, in fact.
yeah,
First and
and
little
the
bit of second quarter.
given the fact that he was almost absent last year, I do you remember any?
Yeah, the pop culture references. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Fahad did, he did star in two films last year. I think Dhoomam was one, which was a bilingual Kannada and Malayalam film directed by Pawan Kumar. And the second one had a very long name, which I can't recall at the moment, but that was a nice film, nice Fafa film. Dhoomam I haven't watched, unfortunately, but the other one was a nice Fafa film. I think it got a
2020.
little sunk somewhere in
Oh, right,
the
right, right.
2018
That
hype.
film, Achum something, no?
Yeah. It's a very long. There are two words and very long. Guys, if you're
Yeah.
watching, please help us.
No, no, I understood the film which is shot in Goa, right? So I
Yeah,
understood
parts of Goa. See again another film that is not shot in Kerala. It
Goa and
was
Mumbai,
started
I
in
think.
Bombay. Yeah, started in
Yeah,
Bombay, Mumbai, and went to Goa. Yeah, parts of it were
and
in Kerala.
was RDX also produced by Fahad?
Oh no, I think
No,
RDX wasn't. No, I
and I
don't
think in
think so.
2020. 2022 he did Malyan Kunya, right? So that was another
Malayan
important film that he did.
controversies.
Yeah.
I think he
Sayyid
also,
says,
I think it was Fahad who kick-started the new film concept from the Malayalam film
hmm,
industry in the COVID times with a film like See You Soon. That was produced by Fahad, acted also. It also
hmm.
had Fahad in it. That's the one. Panchuam.
Pachuvum.
Yeah.
I was saying
Yeah.
Achum. It's Pachu.
Panchuam. Yeah.
Pachuvum. So it was a hit for Fafa
Mamanan.
also.
Yeah. Mamanan was a Tamil film. Yeah. That is
Yeah. Oh,
the
I'm
Mari
yet to watch
Selvaraj
it.
film.
I'm yet
It's
to
the
watch
Mari
it. I
Selvaraj
really have to
film.
watch that film. Yeah.
Fahad went absolutely bonkers in that negative role that was there. Absolutely
Oh.
bonkers. The film wasn't as great as other Mari Selvaraj films like Kanan and another Periyomval, that one. But uh,
Look at
uh,
this. We had a fan in US for Malayalam cinema. Now we have a fan in Pakistan for Malayalam cinema.
I've seen this comment. Hi, Universal Cinema. He had also commented on my video. So hi, we have two fans now from Pakistan. One is our friend, dear friend Sadik, if you're watching, and one is Universal Cinema. Both of them are fans of Malayalam cinema.
Amrita says the Adiks are produced by
Adios,
Sophia Paul,
Sophia Paul.
who produced
Oh,
Minna and
Minan
Mulli.
Mulli. I see.
I'm waiting for Minna and Mulli Part 2, man. Like, I cannot wait to see what
That is the
happens
kind of
next.
universe you should be building, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
isn't
yeah,
that?
absolutely. We have spent almost an hour talking about this, and we can go on and on, but it
We haven't
doesn't
even
feel
touched
like.
about two films, by the way. Yeah,
Bro, maybe they want to move away from stereotype that Malayalam films work only in Kerala landscape. That
yeah.
I don't think that would be a conscious choice though. Like they wouldn't
I
choose a different place just to prove something to somebody.
I think that's an interesting point. I think it's an extension. I think it's a conscious decision. The reason being that if we cannot, make a film which is pan India, we can at least try to make a pan India by setting it outside Kerala. I think that is the reverse engineering that they are doing, probably.
No, but it cannot be a
And
collective effort altogether. Like as I said, it could be a coincidence that the back-to-back films which have worked, they have been set out of Kerala. So I don't think everybody came together and thought, okay, you also make a film set
maybe not.
outside. Could be a
And
series
that
of
shouldn't be the norm
coincidence.
also.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the norm also. It shouldn't be like every other film. Then you're losing out on the original voice of the film. It's only on the script that is there that demands that. And this is an interesting comment I want to read about
Just
Malayali from
came
India.
back. Yeah, and I think
Oh,
this comment will
oh, oh.
this comment
This
will
is
please
exciting now.
Universal Cinema a lot because he's from
Absolutely. See,
Pakistan.
there's a recommendation.
See, he's saying he's the biggest fan of Mollywood. He's sitting in Pakistan, and somebody
Yeah.
in Kerala has just watched Malayali from Hindi, which talks about friendship between a Malayali and Pakistan.
Wow.
So now
This has got me
I'm
excited now.
same here. Like I am also very interested now to watch this film on the weekend, and uh, probably we should go together or something.
We can
And
go tomorrow if you like.
No, but thank you so much, guys. 26 people are watching right now.
Uh,
If you have come
can I
from
say one
Popcorn
thing?
Reviews, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can I say before we wrap up very quickly, we've not touched on two films that are there, and I thought we should touch upon them as
Please,
well.
please, please, yeah.
One is the Mohanlal film Malai
Oh, of
Kottai
course,
Waliban. I
of
think it
course.
was such a brave attempt. I think nothing that I've seen like that before. I think Lijo Jose Pellissery is truly a genre filmmaker, and it's a pity it did not work. And I think it was very different even for the Malayalam audience. I don't know. It was very mixed, the word of mouth, but I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. No two ways about it. And the
I
other
think,
film, yeah,
just on that, LJP for me, look, he's a once in a generation sort of filmmaker because look at
absolutely.
look at the contrast in the subjects he has made films on. If you talk about Jallikattu, where he actually came into spotlight. And then after that, what was the Mamuti film that he made? Nanpakal. And now, to do
Nanpakal,
something
yeah.
like this,
He's made
to do
Churuli.
something, right, right, right.
He's made
So,
Churuli as well. He's made Angamali Diaries as well. He's made
right,
Rest in Peace, RIP as well.
that is such a
He's
great
being
CV. That's such a good profile to boast.
absurdist. absolutely absurdist cinema at its absolute best. That's what you can label it as. I think it's a genre that he created with
So
uh,
why do you think
Malaikutta Galiban.
why do you think that film didn't work? Because it had the
I
director, it
think
had Mohanlal.
Firstly, I think it may have been a little over budget with the kind of manner in which it was shot. Secondly, the kind of subject that it catered to, it was entirely absurdist. It went from, say, a Malayali Western to something which is pre-independent India to almost a Shakespearean tragedy. There was too much information that was there, and it was almost like watching 5 or 6 films in one, uh, which the audience may not have been receptive to, but I mean, it was something totally different that I watched. I absolutely enjoyed that. And I think no two ways about it. LJP is one of my favorite filmmakers that is there. Irrespective of whatever he makes, I think it would be someone like an Anurag Kashyap, right, in his prime, that um, against the tide, not falling in any kind of a genre
I
bracket that
think
is
it's
there. It's a genre filmmaker.
I don't think there is any comparison with not just Anurag but with anyone, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he has been, one step ahead of what the audience can expect from him, and even what his peers are doing. Like, I'm sure everyone in Malayalam cinema is a fan of him in a way that, other people, what they do is, again, also, a lot of respect for that as well. But what he does is something you don't see coming. You are
True.
always just, it's kind of like, I think, Nolan, like, everybody's so intrigued. Okay, what will Nolan pick next? On what topic is he going to make a movie? That's a thing which you anticipate with very, very rare breed of directors, and I think LJP is in that breed.
Is such a brave director, by the way. And if you haven't watch Churuli, by the way, that ending will obviously spiral you somewhere in a totally different direction. Absolutely wonderful, and uh, just a once in a generation director, I would say. And we're glad we're born in the generation that he's making
Oh
films
yeah.
just for fun and
And
not
i'm i'm
really,
i'm
even if it's
i'm
not making.
I'm even more
Angamali
glad.
Diaries is the first film. Yeah, I had watched that
I'm
long back.
I'm even more glad that we are reviewing Malayalam cinema when these films, these directors are existing in the contemporary era.
Absolutely. 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 And another film that I want to also touch upon, which hasn't got as much credit that it should have. It's one of the finest Malayalam films I've seen this year, despite its budget. I don't know whether you've seen the film. Have you seen Atom?
No, that one I've
It's on
missed.
Amazon Prime. You should totally watch it. It was out in January. That was the first film that kickstarted the Malayalam film journey that was there of this year. You should totally watch it. It's on the concept of 12 Angry Men, but
Okay.
the director Anand has taken that concept and turned it on its head. Absolutely turned it on its head with the kind of messaging that he wants to convey through that film, and such a relevant message, and yet absolutely broad stroking it with a kind of a genre which is almost made for a template. It's made for a thriller kind of a template, and you should totally watch it. I won't give any other details, but it's one of my favorite films, Malayalam films, at least in the top three, if I can put it this year. Definitely in my top three this year.
So what I'm doing right now, I'll put a poll in this live chat. Let's see what people have to say about, like, their favorite film. So I'm doing a poll which asks people what was their favorite film of 2024. So I put Avesham, I put Varshangalkku Shesham. So we can only add five options, I think.
Really? Okay.
I'm adding Bramayugam to that. Uh,
Okay.
what other film do
Manjumal
you think?
Boys, Manjumal Boys, Premalu. I wish you could put more, no?
Okay, now four options actually. I forgot. We can put only four options.
Only four. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Should we put the popular ones or the ones that we like? I think
Uh
we shouldn't then put Atom because you haven't watched it. I think the
yeah.
films that are common to both of us, I think we can put probably Premalu, Manjumal Boys, Adu Jeevitam. Oh shit, yeah, there's Brahmayugam as well. There's Avesham as well. Oh God. See, that poll
So
is also so difficult, right?
yeah. And we are only in, by the way, we are only in May. Okay,
You're
Ju-
barely out of April. You can say that. You're
yeah,
barely out of April.
and we can't find four films for the poll.
Oh, damn.
So just like if you had to pick four films, like
If I
which
had to pick,
four, which four,
or
like which four should I put in the poll?
in the poll,
Yeah.
so the poll will be different from what I actually would have absolutely loved. I so first I'll tell you my list of four that I absolutely enjoyed. In no particular order. I liked Atom. I
Okay.
liked Bramayugam. I liked which one? One second. Adu Jivitam and it's a tough one. I think Manjumal Boys probably. That will be my four that if I had to, if there's somebody putting a gun on my head, I would say these are the four. Although I missed out on Premalu, I missed out on Avesham, Varshangalkku, I think is still a notch lower.
So you
Malai
you're
Kote
you're
Waliban
you're
again
choosing
is
Premalu over Avesham.
no. I'm choosing Manjumal Boys over the other two. So
So
Atam, Adu
okay.
Jivitam, Brahmayugam, and Manjumal Boys. These are the four of me for me.
Okay, so since I have not seen Atom, I'm gonna put
You should put
Avesham,
Avesham then. Yeah,
Goat Life, Brahmayugam, and Manjumal Boys. Is that a fair poll to ask people?
I think so. I think so.
So
Yes,
we
because
we
these are
we are
the
gonna
four different films that are there.
so there's not gonna be Premalu in this.
No, Premalu won't be there because I think it's a genre that has been more often, treaded over. You can say.
Okay, okay.
Right?
So poll
So
is
that's why no
now live,
Premalu.
guys. Poll is live. If you think if you think you liked a film outside of this poll, you can tell us in the comments. But this is the poll, and let's see which out of these four, or out of anything else as well, what people incline towards the most. For me, like if I had to choose, I would probably choose The Goat Life because, as you said, for you it was the best theatrical experience in a long, long time, and I pity the people who won't be able to watch it in a theater now, because on Netflix or at home, it won't be anywhere near what we experience
It
in the
won't.
theaters,
It won't.
because it's not just the performance, it's the whole world building that they have done, and the way they have shot it and edited it. In that sense, I think it really struck a chord with me. So for me, if I had to pick my most favorite film of this year, it's The Goat Life so far. And let's see what the people say. So far, okay, Avesham is winning actually.
Maybe a recency bias. I don't know. But
Right.
it's a great film anyway. So any film
And
that wins, it's just
I'm
a fraction kind of a difference between
but
every film.
Farad, I'm so surprised Manjumal Boys had not got a single vote.
It's a recency bias that is there, and that's it. I mean, I wouldn't go too much looking into it because all films are great in the poll, right? It's just a minor difference here and there, but yeah,
See, so even Michelle
Avesham is
agrees.
the most recent one.
It's her
Yeah, us too.
favorite film of the year as well.
Us too.
Uh,
Shelly, please subscribe to Popcorn Reviews also. Would love to connect
yeah,
with you there
uh,
today.
I have
And everyone others too.
the channel in the description. You can find popcorn reviews there.
You can put in
Universal
the chat
Cinema.
as well at the rate or something.
Okay. Universal says my all-time. Okay. You know,
Oh, Kumbal and
one day we
good
should
choice.
one day we should do a video like that also. Our all-time
Yeah.
favorite Malayalam films. That will
Bhai
be
sab,
interesting.
that will be so difficult. That will probably be an 8-hour video if everyone's ready to watch.
See, right now in 2024, 4 months down the line, we are facing difficulty to find top four, top five films. How difficult would it be to make a list of top five Malayalam films of all time that we love? It will be uh,
Oh, absolutely.
Popcorn Reviews is
Which is
in
the one
English.
film
Yes,
that I said? It is. Yeah.
he has a website as well, by
It's
the
with a
way.
double S, by the way. Yeah, it's with a
So he
double
has a
S.
YouTube channel. He has a website as well where he does textual reviews as well. So you can check that out too. And uh, Alpha says already subscribed. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
s-
Yeah.
all films are great. I would vote for all. What should I do?
So would we. So would we. So
Eric,
would we.
Ricky says,
Yes, yes.
I am yet to watch it.
I have
Farhad has
watched
seen
it.
it.
I have watched it. I feel that only reason on any other given, day, I wouldn't agree with that. With all due respect, I feel Premalu was a better film for me. But Aavesham on any given day would be a good film, and it would be a great film. And if it was released in 2023, let me tell you, it would be a great film. Because it was sandwiched between all these films, it turns out to be a good film. I can say it that way.
Ruth has a very interesting point. So just
As a
imagine if, as
Malayali
a
also.
Malayali, if as Malayali they face difficulties, so for us, it's even more difficult.
I think it'll
uh,
be difficult, more difficult for them, right? Because they've consumed a lot more Malayalam content. I
hmm,
think we're still relatively new, say
right.
only 4, 5, 6, 7 years
No,
in
no, for
the
me, 3 years. For me,
circuit.
3 years. By the way, 40 people
And
are watching. We completed 3 years of reviewing cinema today, and we are doing a
yeah,
roundup of Malayalam cinema because we started with The Great Indian Kitchen in 2021. That's the first review you will find on this channel, and then we started doing it on a regular basis. So if you are new here, please subscribe and also press the like or even dislike button. Like if you don't like our favorite picks, you can dislike the channel as well because it helps the algorithm, as you know. So Universal is saying Premalu technically savage film. That's true.
mm.
I mean, uh,
I
for
think
me, I
all
think
Malayalam, it applies to all Malayalam films, by the way. All are technically superb, sound.
I did like overall experience of watching Abraham Maslow, but there was
I found it okay. Abraham Osler for me was an okay film. The last half hour for me didn't work because it was literally spoon fed, you know. The details in the film was spoon fed. So Abraham Oslo, by the way, that film also has a Mammootty cameo
right. He's everywhere these days, isn't it? Like
everywhere. He's
and
omnipresent.
his son is kind of missing the
And does he
action right
look
now.
72? I don't think so.
Oh
Doesn't
no
look
no no,
72.
not at all.
Not a day above 45, I think.
Just recently, I was thinking. So I'm a huge Jerry Seinfeld fan, and he turned 70 a couple of days ago.
Hmm.
I was just thinking, there are a few people who are blessed with these genes who don't look their age, and at 70 to look 40s or 50s, that's another level of
Absolutely.
God's blessing. Uh,
And I
but
think
anyway,
his second innings after COVID is absolutely
yeah,
incredible. I think we should do a
yeah.
Mammootty episode someday after COVID, the films that he's acted in after COVID.
And
That would be like a super,
whenever I have reviewed a Mammootty film on the channel, every single video has at least couple of comments saying this is new to you guys, but we have seen Mammootties in the
yeah,
70s and 80s doing this kind of stuff back then. Right now, maybe because of social media and this woke culture, it might be appealing to you guys, but he has already been there, done that for so long, for so many years. It's just that more people outside of Kerala are getting to know about all his choices and everything now. But he's been the flag bearer of this kind of stuff for a very long time.
and dare I say, a younger Mammootty of this generation could have been an absolute wreck in terms of box office. You know,
Yeah,
if he was younger and he was in this generation, I think there would be no stopping him. Absolutely, there's absolutely no stopping him right now as well. But
yeah.
you have to admit, age isn't on his side at the moment. But I wish that he lives, for another 500 years and we get to watch a lot of it. At least till we are alive.
Sayyed, thank you so much. That's a very sweet comment.
Thank you.
And
Very
I
sweet
think,
of you. Yeah. Thank you.
and for the reason why we have been fan is because the content and the
Absolutely.
genuine talent people have over there, and the love for the cinema. At the end of the day, we do this for the love of the cinema. They make genuine films for the love of cinema, and you come here and watch us talk for the love of cinema. So I think that's the common denominator.
And can I say one more thing? I think the Kerala film industry doesn't work on a business model. They don't reverse engineer thinking that, okay, this is the kind of films that will earn so and so rupees, so this much we'll invest. There's no reverse engineering. They just make films. Hindi, it is reverse engineering. Everything amounts to cost with the corporates
Yeah.
coming in. Luckily, there are no corporates in Kerala. That's one of the reasons why the quality has not been compromised from the industry. And I think I would also say one thing about something that we were witness to when we watched 2018 last year, when Tovino Thomas had said that famous line that has stuck on to me ever since, that if you want to support a good industry like the Malayalam film industry, it is important that you go to the theater and watch
Mm.
that film, because OTT is one thing, but when you watch that film, you are helping out the entire industry. And
Yeah.
even Prithviraj said something something very beautiful. This was before the release of Adu Jivitam, and he was posed with a question that um, why does the industry celebrate, why don't they look at it as a competition, the other actors that are there, like, for example, before Adu Jivitam, Premalu had worked, Bramayugam had worked, even Manjumal Boys had worked. So, and he had promoted Manjumal Boys as well. And that's why he was asked the question. And he said that the buzz of that film is definitely going to translate into my film as well when it comes out eventually, right? The word of mouth is that the Malayalam films are doing well per se. So I think all these factors, are wonderful, to understand what a warm industry it is. And
Yeah.
I don't know their working style, because none of both of us haven't worked even remotely in the Malayalam film industry. But you can make out the passion that is there. Even if the money is less, they still do it with a lot. And the technical aspects, are absolutely through the roof. I think and it should be a learning even for Hollywood, I would say, that how to construct a good technical film in a very shoestring budget for them. I think
Mm.
all of it, right from the BGM to the cinematography to everything, I think editing is top notch. You should see the editing of Malai Kotte Valiban. I think it's outstanding. That film is
Yeah.
technically wonderful film. I think that's my if I had to pick one film that was technically wonderful this year, my vote would go to Malai Kotte Valiban, followed by
No.
Brahmyugam, followed by Adu Jivitam. Adu Jivitam and Brahmyugam on one level, but Malai Kotte was, I think, outstanding with the score, with the
I
cinematography,
mean,
with the
no,
editing.
no
Wonderful.
surprise there because it's LJP. All his films have been technically so
Absolutely.
tight, and
That's
this is another interesting one. Editing in Talumala. Wow,
Talumala.
that's you
Wow.
should,
Wow. That film was wow.
that
I
was a
regret not
breath
watching
of
that
fresh air.
film in a theater.
Same, yeah. Because when I watched it here at my place, and I was like, oh my god, like it's not just the editing, but the cinematography and the action choreography. Everything just came
Action
together so
choreography. That
perfectly.
I still remember that
Uh,
360-degree shot that was there, like
yeah.
wonderful,
Oh my god.
absolutely.
I
Perfect
just hope
example.
that I just hope people don't remake that film as well. That's another one
They
that should
cannot
not
make
be
it.
touched.
That film was
That's
very restricted to north of Kerala, Malabar region of Kerala. So if you take that film out of the North Malabar region of Kerala, that film will not work a day in the theater.
Did you guys watch Fafa interview? He talks about giving license to his director as a producer to come up with experiments at this peak period in coming
That's
years. Yeah,
heartening to hear, absolutely.
yeah, we did watch that. I think in Malayalam, producers also actors.
There's no
Yes,
corporate.
that's what we talked about as well. Talumala director was the driver Prasad from
Driver
Manjumal Boys.
Prasadan. Absolutely. See, everyone is a director. Khalid Rehman, the name of the director is Khalid Rehman, Tallumala also. He
Even the
also
lesser
made a wonderful film called Love with Shine Tom Chacko. That's on Netflix as well.
Even the lesser collecting films were good in 2024, like Atom
Ah,
and
that's one film I did not talk about. I watched that film as well, Anchala Kola Cook, and I watched that in the theater this year, and it was Absolutely a wonderful tribute. Thank you so much. What's his name? Isaac Peter. Thank you so much, Isaac, for reminding me of Ancha Kala Kokkan. I'd watched that in the theater, and it was a perfect tribute to Pulp Fiction. I think, who's the director of Pulp Fiction again? Damn, I'm forgetting his name. Uh, One second. Give me a minute. I'm Googling it. He's a very famous director. How can I forget? Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is, yeah, of course, Quentin
Quentin
Tarantino.
Tarantino.
Uh, Quentin Tarantino would be proud of that film, I can say. It was a shoestring budget film, but what a film. It was a non-linear kind of a storytelling and absolutely. And the director, by the way, is the brother of Champan Vinod, who was also in the film and fabulous in the film. Another actor we didn't talk about is Lukman Avram. My God, see the interviews, I mean, the video is going on and on, but we are discovering gems. And I had watched this as well in the theater. It was wonderful.
So Isaac has also asked which are your underrated gems of 2024.
Absolutely, these two, I would even call Malai Kotte, because it didn't work. I would still call it an underrated gem for the same reason, because it did not work. And I watched these two as well. What else have I watched? I
I would
I
call
think
I would call
mhm.
Varshangalkku. I always mess up the pronunciation. The
Varshangalkku Shesham.
Varshangalkku
Uh,
Shesham. I would say it's a little underrated because the reviews that
yeah,
I've
it is.
seen, it's better than what the reviews say, because it's got mixed reviews. Although it's box office wise, it might have worked in Kerala, but I think it's still underrated in a way. Uh, True says don't watch Malayali from India, so we
We
are
are
planning
going
to
to,
watch it.
after that comment from Sayed.
Yeah, that it's
That
about
comment has
Pakistan.
something else now. You don't know what that has done with our heads. We don't care about the reviews anymore. He was the writer. Yes, I am aware of that. But thank you for sharing, Sayed. Angamali Diaries. I think that was my first LJP film that I'd watched, and it included. Have you watched Angamali?
Long back. I think we have discussed it on this channel a couple of years ago as well.
I
Yeah.
still remember the prowess of the director in that 11 or 12-minute one take sequence that was there in the climax. I think that was something else, absolutely. Turbo is there too, yes. And even the director Vipin Das is coming out with his movie Guru something something, which is out on 13th May. So lots to look forward to this year. Prithviraj
Yes,
wasn't
that.
ghostwriting.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Eric Sadiq Suleiman bhai. I don't know. You tell me. You're in Pakistan. You should know. But yeah, no. On a serious note, Sadiq is a little busy at the moment. But we keep coaxing him, to make videos as well. But he will eventually. Let's see. We'll have to push him a little more.
Do you know about this film? I didn't know about this one.
Vilayat Buddha. No, I haven't. Waiting for, when is it out, Nandu?
Budget is 8 and
75 crore.
collected.
Wow.
See, see. I didn't mean underrated in terms of box office collections. Like what I mean
Mm,
is like
yeah,
film wise, like critically acclaim wise. It didn't get as positive response as an Aavesham got maybe.
it didn't.
Uh, this one I've not seen.
Ibrahim Osler, I did not. I liked it, but it wasn't a great film for me. It was a decent one-time watch for me, Ricky. Can Hollywood borrow Prithviraj for a bit then? Would Hollywood want to borrow him? I don't know. He can
I
be
think
the next Bond if you would want him to.
Shelley is a huge fan of Prithviraj. It seems.
Guys, please raise
Uh,
my subscriber base also. Yeah, I'm at something a little above 2000. Please, at least 100 of you, please. Subscribe to
100
my
people.
channel. It's a popcorn reviews with a double S, okay, which is why
Yeah.
I have also named it in my name here.
But I think this is an amazing chat. Just looking
It
back
was.
at this year and also looking back at those last 3 years of this journey. With you, with Nona Prince, with Ashmita from I Just React and Review, Tanya, who started with us back then, Sneha was a
You know
part
what
of
will be a
this.
good idea? You know what will be a good idea to get every one of them on a single podcast, with
I, I've
Nona, with
I've thought
Ashmita.
of it.
And I haven't been on a podcast with them too. So I think that will be a different thing for me as well.
I So if you remember, I did once plan, and I asked you, and you were not available at
Yeah.
the time.
I
So
wasn't available then. Yeah,
yeah, and
I
for
wasn't.
today also, I was thinking of it, but Nona had gone to watch Malayali from India, and
Uh,
Ashmita was out for a dinner, so they were not
uh,
available today. But
next time.
just
Next
a
time.
huge thanks to both of them. You, Sadik was a part of this, of our channel once. When he used to have time, and Tanya was there. There was another couple of people. I'm forgetting.
Sana
Sneha was
was there.
there, and Sana was there.
Sana was. Uh,
So everyone, whom we started with, and who people who continue to be a part of this journey. I think you started your channel a couple of years ago as well.
yeah.
That was, actually a very interesting thing to see, because you had been writing textual reviews for such a long time, and then we used to do, for the first year, I think we used to do a lot of reviews almost every week here together, and
Yeah, we were.
then for you to transition into your channel, and to see it grow as well, it gives me so much of happiness as well.
Thank you.
uh,
This
and
platform provided me the platform for that channel. Round table.
Yes, hopefully. And for Farhad and me live in Mumbai, so we can actually. I was also talking to you. Remember the guy whom we met at what was it?
Janaganamana.
No, no, no. Filmy Slashy,
Filmy
Instagram page.
Shashi. Ah, Tushar, Tushar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tushar. He's a friend.
I was talking to him as well, to be a part of this, and he was interested. So probably we can get him as well on one of the reviews. So
And he's a
uh,
Malayali from Bombay, by the way.
I know, I know. Uh, I don't know Nimish Halkar.
Sorry.
Uh, Riz Ahmed would be so good in Mayanati. Riz Ahmed is acting in an Indian film?
I think they are just imagining him to be a part of Mayanadi, like the character of
Oh,
Tovino that was there. I think that's what he meant,
okay.
probably. I
I'm a
think.
I'm a huge Riz Ahmed fan, man. Like it would be
Uh,
that would be a
and
great
that
crossover.
and that will also be like a crossover for Universal Cinema also. Pakistani living in Hollywood, working in an Indian film in Malayalam. That's all bases covered.
Absolutely. Artem will need a long podcast, broski. Hopefully soon from you guys.
I
Artem,
have
you're
actually also, yeah, I
yeah.
reviewed it on my channel as well. I reviewed it in Jan back, so you'll have to watch it under my Malayalam playlist, and also I've already reviewed it on my site as well. Wonderful film, kickstarted the 2024 era of Malayalam films.
Okay, I don't know
Guru
what
Vayur,
this
that's the
means.
one. This Guru Vayur is the name of the film that is directed by Vipin Das, who had earlier directed Jai Jai Jai. It's out on 13th May, so that's what I think I said Guru something. So for audition for. Oh, really?
He
This
did
I didn't
mention
know.
that, I think, in the Bardoj Rangan interview.
Oh, I may have missed that point.
I
I
think
had been over.
he did mention an audition, yeah, with some big actor. He
Shelly,
didn't
do
name
something.
the
Get him a role already.
but this was great fun chatting on a day when I completed 3 years. Uh, and there's a very boring match going on in IPL. So we just thought
Yeah,
that
what's the score?
it'll be interesting to do this, and uh, but
Oh,
it's
damn.
one-sided. Punjab
Oh,
need
damn.
28 runs in 36 balls, so
Oh, damn.
so
Okay.
it's good that we chose
Deepak
this
Chair,
day
I
to.
think, is injured. In other news, Deepak Chair is injured.
I
Shivam
don't think
Dubey is
any of these.
bowling.
I don't think any of these guys would care as much as they would be happy about the fact that Sanju Samson is in India's World Cup squad.
Sanju Samsung is in.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Justice for Sanju.
I hope that it doesn't really. The squad can still change till 25th May, so I hope he continues. Favorite Riz Ahmed movie, Sound of Metal is pretty
Sound
good,
of
but
Metal.
I love him in Nightcrawler. The performance he put
Oh,
out there in Nightcrawler with
interesting choice.
Jake Gyllenhaal. I think that's probably his one of the best.
I love
Is
Sound
it?
of Metal, by the way. Is
Oh my God,
Oh.
yes. I used to do. You remember?
Oh my God.
So
I remember
before,
I was a part of it also.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So before movies, we used to do cricket on this channel, and the name of the channel was also different. I think. So this channel has been through a lot, and after 30th April 2021, I made it absolutely dedicated to cinema, and that's why we named it All Things Cinema.
Didn't it
So
also change the names actually, that you got into a pickle somewhere? That too was there, right?
I
So
did.
yeah,
It was
that
called
got
Cinema Hall. It was called Cinema Hall.
cinema hall. It started off as cinema hall. I
Yes.
remember the Malayalam that
And
was there.
you remember there was like that 20th Century Fox kind of logo presentation as well. I actually got
I
it
remember.
made, and then somebody spoiled it that they had the copyrights to the name. But
Somebody put it on social media directly, like, without even
yeah, yeah, yeah.
contacting
Oh my
Keshav.
God,
And
yes. Don't remind me
so
of
it
that.
started off as cricket to cinema hall to now all things cinema pot.
Yeah.
What a
By
journey.
the way, guys,
Nice.
if you don't know, I am actually a full-time musician. So I have
Yeah.
another channel with my name, Keshav Huria, which you can find, and you can find out the music I do. You can find out my music on Spotify and every platform. I'm a full-time musician, and this we do for the love of cinema. Farad also has another job full-time, so this we try to find time, and we watch the movies and we review it for you guys because it's so much fun talking films with you guys. It's been 1.5 hours, that we have been discussing, and it doesn't feel like so much time has gone by. And I'm yet to
Yeah.
have dinner. So
Even I'm yet
I'll
to have dinner.
no, but thank you, Farad, for this was great fun. Reminded me of old days, and
Absolutely. Fun
all
always.
thanks to every one of you guys for coming here, spending time with us, talking Malayalam cinema with us. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. If you have come from Popcorn Reviews, and if you have come from my channel, go to Popcorn Reviews and subscribe to him as well. And we'll probably see you very soon with another video. Till then, please take care and do the drill. Do what you can, like, dislike, comment, whatever you want to do.
And if you want a round table, subscribe to Keshav's channel, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Nona Princess channel, subscribe to Ashmita's channel, and comment on each one of our channel videos that we want a
Yes,
round
please.
table. Do that in all our videos and we'll think about it.
Yes, please. So this is Keshav. I will continue to be Keshav. That was Farad. He will also remain Farad until the next video. Goodbye.